Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the Esteemed FaceTime with Leaders, an initiative by World Development Corporation. I'm Sunny Pancholi, anchor at World Development Corporation. FaceTime with Leaders is a platform for industry titans to share their experiences, thoughts, ideas, and best practices in order to inspire one another and future leaders. In a nutshell, we attempt to encapsulate the multi-decadal learnings acquired by these industry leaders. We also hope that by conducting these FaceTime with Leaders interviews, we can bring together a global community of eminent personalities. By bringing together such visionaries on one platform, we hope to play a part in inspiring the lives of other leaders. Great learnings from great leaders undoubtedly assist everyone by identifying, nurturing, and using the trade secrets that are proven success formulas for many. And this is what we aim for with these sessions by making them a gathering of industry stalwarts and a knowledge-sharing community. We have one such industry heavyweight on FaceTime with Leaders with us today, Ms. Anyuta Dhir. She is a human resource leader and transformation expert with about 2.5 decades of international experience. With a strong track record in HR strategy, she has excelled in diverse domains such as HealthTech, FinTech, EdTech, e-commerce, renewable energy, and more. These extensive experience spans large corporations, mid-sized companies, and startups across multiple geographies, including the US, UK, Europe, France, and APAC. In her latest role as Vice President Human Resource, she has achieved numerous mammoth feats, namely, she created an HR roadmap based on business and profitability drivers, optimized HR policies, processes, and SOPs, and upskilled the talent pipeline, elevating the customer service benchmark to extraordinary levels amongst many of her regular chores. Welcome to FaceTime with Leaders. We appreciate your willingness to share your knowledge and engage in this conversation.
Thank you so much, Sunny, for that great introduction. I look forward to having a very engaging conversation with you.
So do I. So, Ms. Anyuta, to begin with, you are a prominent and experienced HR executive in the industry. So what drew you to this line of work? What has kept you at the top of the human resource field for the past 2 decades?
Sunny, I like interacting more with people than I did with computers. That's when I started my career, initially as a software developer. So what I realized over a period of time that I enjoyed building and contributing towards empowered workspaces. And it's more about being of service than anything else. And basically, what my mission was to see that the human capital is rightly invested on and to see that it thrives in meeting any of its missions.
All right. So thank you for the excellent start to this interview. And it's an honor to interact with someone who exudes such a strong corporate personality. So continuing our conversation, we would like to know, your career is filled with notable accomplishments. But what are 3 of your greatest achievements in your opinion?
So I feel getting accolades and qualifications is something that many do. However, having a successful journey is what the game is all about. And being aware of that is the real accomplishment one can ever, differentiate from. So let me tell you a little story on this note about myself. As a young manager, I traveled internationally and I noticed people, they were multi-potentialites. And that's when I decided that I will never limit myself on gaining expertise in only in one industry. Usually people here are very industry focused and become experts in subject matter, experts in particular area and field. Adverse to that, I wanted to be a holistic and a diversified HR professional. Therefore, with an open mindset, I worked across industries and various companies through various organizational life cycles, that's startups, mid-size and large companies, and understanding the power of people by giving them congenial culture is where I thrived using the expertise of technology. So in a nutshell, 3 achievements have been to empower workplaces using people, culture, and technology, having gained expertise in these 3 pillars. Keeping an open and an agile mindset, embracing change by keeping adept with the changing times. And the last one is keeping my knowledge updated about technology And I do go back to school consciously after every decade during my professional journey. So I think this is what my true accomplishment has been.
Interesting. All right. So let's move on to the next question. And here it is. What advice would you give to aspiring HR leaders looking to make their mark? And part B is, what do you believe are the three most important characteristics or skills they must develop in order to become industry leaders?
So, Sunny, I will not limit it to a number of 3 or 4. So let me just drop that frame right now. But, I'm going to digress a little and then come back to the point. Barbie, the new movie, even Barbie, the brand, has established in the movie where being self-aware is the key. And much to my surprise, this movie has become the highest grossing film of 2023 in North America. The crux is that the world has no relevance without the humane quotient. And the most important characteristic or skills that the young leaders must develop is of self-awareness. And that is what is that of interest to them and inspires them. I believe you cannot give what you don't have. So that's the first one. The second one is treat others the way you'd like to be treated. And the last one, not the least though, always having people first mindset. So successful leaders must know how to plan for the very dynamic future, being a change agent, having a mindset of linking adaptive initiatives to business goals. They can translate the business context and the evolving world of work in short, mid, and long-term strategic milestones that will not only help the company meet its visions and goals, but also building operational resilience.
Fantastic. So now that we have discussed your career journey, your professional pursuits, let's move on to the subject of corporate governance and ESG. So as someone who has worked in the HR field for so long, do you believe that there is a disparity in the understanding of corporate governance amongst employees of different levels?
Yes, there can be significant disparities in understanding corporate governance amongst employees of different levels within an organization. Corporate governance encompasses the systems of rules, practices, and processes by which a company is directed and controlled. It involves the relationships amongst various stakeholders, such as shareholders, management, customers, suppliers, vendors, financiers, government, and the community. So understanding corporate governance is crucial for employees because it impacts how decisions are made and the overall functioning of the organization. So that's what it is.
All right. So before we conclude our discussion on this particular subject, I would like to ask one more question to you. As a corporate governance expert, what values do you bring along?
So I thought about this and, I made a list of 10 core values. So let me just throw some light on that. The first and the foremost is about ethical leadership. Focusing on a culture of integrity and responsible conduct through the organization is very pivotal. So that's the first. The next is compliance and risk management. Regulatory compliance and risk assessment is very essential. So I can ensure that the organization adheres to legal and ethical standards in all business practices. The third one being transparency and accountability. Now, when an individual knows how their contribution is of value and makes a difference in the organization, is the fundamental aspect of a very good governance. And I think that's where transparency and accountability, contributes in a big way. Moving on to the next one is about having an engaged board. So board level engagement is very important, where, workforce insights is important, making sure that the strategic goals are, clearly and well defined, meaningful, understanding is given to each stakeholders involved. The next is diversity and inclusion, equal opportunity given to all, inclusion initiatives, ensuring that practices are inclusive in the organization and the workflows reflects diverse perspectives and backgrounds. It's very, very critical. Moving on, stakeholder management. So being the driving force towards stakeholder engagement can build strong relationships with employees, unions, investors, and clients, contributing harmoniously towards a productive work environment. Data and analytics. Data is going places, nowadays. So making decision-making with known facts, evidence-based strategies, one can leverage a lot with data and analytics on these. Crisis management is one. Being an expert in the corporate governance space, one can play a pivot role in handling related crises, something like workplace misconduct, their labor disputes, and these are very critical in maintaining the organization's reputation and integrity. Moving on, strategic HR alignment. Now, the human capital of any organization is what drives the mission. So making sure they know how they're aligned to the big goal and how they're contributing is very, very vital. And last but not the least is Kaizen, continuous improvement, making a space of learning and development, a culture of innovation, enhances and fosters the organization's mission. So I think these 10 are the core, areas of focus that I would work on.
That was really insightful of you, Miss Anyuta. Okay, so let's move ahead and let's discuss the technology landscape since it has become an integral part of our lives now. So what are some of the most remarkable changes you have seen in your field with changes in technology? That is part A. And B is, what changes do you expect to see with the advent of technology like IoT, AI, ML, blockchain, big data, Web 3.0, etc.?
So in recent years, human resources has witnessed remarkable changes driven by technology, including the widespread of data analytics for talent management. The emergence of remote solutions and the automation of HR processes has made a very pivotal, landmark change in the way these functions operate. So looking ahead with the Internet of Things, or artificial intelligence, machine learning, blockchain, big data, and Web 3.0, we can anticipate further transformations such as predictive AI-driven recruitment, blockchain-backed credential verification, real-time performance tracking through Internet of Things, advanced analytics for personalized employee experience, which is very critical, and decentralized HR management on the blockchain front. All of these contributing to a more agile and data-driven HR practices.
Rightly said, Ms. Anyuta. All right, so this brings us to the last question of the session, and here it is. We are building a community of industry magnates. The move is meant for cross-pollination of knowledge and building a knowledge-sharing community of corporate giants and industry experts. So what are your thoughts about these initiatives taken by Mr. Zishan Pathan, Mr. Heval Mehta, and the whole team of World Development Corporation?
I think it's a great initiative to spread awareness with the right information and knowledge, bringing together industry trends, case studies, practical and live exposure, and this initiative that you're talking about, industry magnets. So all under one umbrella makes it very easy for aspiring board members to get all on a single platform. So kudos to you and your team, and of course to Mr. Heval Mehta and Mr. Zishan Pathan. Great work indeed.
Amazing, amazing. It was fantastic conversing with you, and I'm confident that your insights will inspire future leaders. Thank you, Ms. Anyuta Dhir, for joining us today. Wish you the best for your future endeavors. Moreover, trust that this initiative by Directors Institute has unquestionably expanded the participants' understanding and enriched their minds.
Great. Thank you so much for having me here. It's been an honor sharing insights. Thank you so much. Much appreciated.